I was like, hi, welcome to the video. I'm sick. I did heatless curls last night, just for funsies. So today I'm gonna be doing a piercing tour. I have 16? 16. I have 16 piercings. I thought since each piercing has like a story behind it, well, almost every piercing has a story behind it, I would do a piercing tour because people are into that. And I wish I filmed when I did a lot of these piercings. I could have made a series, but I didn't know I was going to be doing so many. And by the time I had done a lot of piercings and I got to one of my latest piercings, I was like, it's kind of pointless since I already have so many piercings and I didn't film any of the other ones. Like when I did my third, oh my god, you can literally see my band-aid hanging off of my ear. I did not see that, ignore that. Wait, where is it? When I did my third, I want some like Calypso blue lemonade. What is it? I was like, I'm not gonna do many after this, so I'm not gonna film it. But I really should have because those videos get a lot of views, so. Ocean blue lemonade. I want this. Okay, let's get into the piercing tour. All right, I'm gonna be going in, as far as I know, in order from oldest to most recent. So first off, we have our first lobes. So someone from Buford, Georgia is calling me. Decline. Why is someone from Buford, Georgia calling me? Hold on, let me redo the band-aid on my ear. Okay, first up, I have my first lobe piercing. I think I got this done in a Walmart when I was like 3 years old. I cried. I think I was like so excited and I didn't think anything of it. And then the girls, there were 2 girls and they both had a piercing gun. And they were like, okay, 1, 2, 3. And they clicked it. And I was like, I immediately started crying and my mom hugged me and picked me up. And then when I was like all done crying, I like looked at it and I was like, cool. And then big time jump to when I'm 14. Yeah, I think I'm 14. I got my second lobes done at a tattoo shop, and so I had been wanting a septum piercing for a really long time. I think like maybe a year or 2. And I kept asking my parents if I could get a septum piercing. And they were like, no, but we'll let you get your second lobes done. So I was like, okay, cool. And at this point, I was a gold wearer. I stood by gold. I wore gold hoops to school. I need Vaseline. So I was a gold wearer, right? So I went into the piercing shop, tattoo shop, whatever it's called. It was called a tattoo shop, like that was the name of the place. But they also did piercings. I walk in, I do the fill out thing. We had to bring my birth certificate, my parents' IDs. It's a whole thing for minors. So I walk in, I do the whole thing. She takes me back into this private room and she gets the stuff out and she's like, do you wear gold or silver? And I was like, gold. As you can see, that changed. So she gets the needle out, my parents are watching, and they were like, she like threaded it through like a needle. And I was like, yep, that's how piercings work. So she put it in. She didn't use clamps because it's just a low piercing. I think she like put something behind it. I didn't watch when she did it, but I think she put like a circular tube, metal tube behind my ear, and then she just put it in, and then she put the earring in and she threaded it through. So I had that for a while. And this was the summer before 10th grade. And then literally the day before I started 10th grade, I was like, I want another piercing. Like from the second I got the second piercing, I was like, I want another piercing. Like that was so cool. I want another piercing immediately. So I was at home and I got a sewing needle and I got some alcohol and I got some wipes, some paper towels, and I got some studs from my mom, and so she didn't know I was about to do this. From all she knew, I just wanted stud earrings. So I got some studs, and I got a sewing needle, and I pushed it through my lobe, and it took me like a few minutes to get it through. Like, you may think it goes through skin super easy, but no. It took me a few minutes because I was also in pain, so I was just like, ugh, you know? So I was forcing it through, and they were so uneven. I posted on my Snapchat story that I did it, and I was like, is it okay that it's uneven? And some girl responded, girl, I did my piercings, and my OCD would never let me like make them uneven, and that made me feel really bad about how uneven they were. But now I don't even care, because like I have so many, you can't even really tell that they're uneven unless you're really looking for it. Okay, next I think I either did my 4th lobe or my septum piercing. Hold on, let me check my Be Real memories. Oh wait, I deleted Be Real. Let me check my photos. Okay, so there's literally no digital footprint that I can find from any of these piercings up until my septum. So I have no idea when I did any of these piercings. So I think I'm just gonna say I did my 4ths next. So my 4ths, same exact story. I did it with a sewing needle. And the first time I did a piercing, my 3rds, I told my mom about it, and she was like, you're crazy. You did that with a sewing needle? You're crazy. You're insane. You're a crazy child. So then I did my 4ths, and she was like, okay, that's it. Like, that's all you're doing. Heads up, that was not all I did. I think like maybe a month or less into school, I did my septum piercing. Here's the photo of when I did it. I called my cousin, and she was like, so how are you gonna hide that? Are you gonna flip it up? And I was like, yeah, I saw you could do that. So, let me first tell the story of how I did it. So I think a few months prior to me doing this, I ordered a piercing kit, and I tried to do my septum piercing maybe 3 to 4 times before I actually like mustered up the courage to actually shove it all the way through. So I ordered the piercing kit off of Amazon, and when I first got it, I was kind of like scared to do anything. And looking back, I should have used the 16 gauge piercing needles for my lobes, but I didn't. I used literal sewing needles. I don't think I knew there were 16 gauge. I don't even think I knew what a gauge was. Ooh, I don't think I knew what gauges were. I had no idea what any of the things meant. I just knew there were clamps, needles, and jewelry. That's all I knew about piercings. I don't even know what gauge needle I used for my septum piercing. I think it might have been a 14 gauge. On a school night, I did my, I used to be in band. I'm not doing it next year because it became more of like a chore than a hobby. But I used to play the trumpet. I have since I was in 6th grade, and I'm in 10th grade now. I'm homeschooled, but this was when I was in public school. I got done doing my trumpet assignment. Oh my god, what the freak? I'm actually gonna shoot myself because what the freak? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give myself a septum piercing because I really want it. So I remember me doing this. I got, I think, a 14 gauge needle. I cleaned my nose with the alcohol pads, and I took the clamp that had the thing where you thread through the needle. I think I put it here, and then I like slowly like thread it through. I think I sneezed like at least 5 times while I was doing this. And then at one point when it was like halfway through, or maybe 3/4 of the way through, I took the clamp off because I couldn't feel like where it was going, so I took it off to make sure I was doing it right. And I just couldn't muster up the courage to push it through, so I literally just tapped it so that it would like break the skin, and it went through, and then I shoved it. I took a picture with the needle in my nose. I was wearing a Juicy Couture jacket. I got made fun of at school. I got called Barbie, but it's fine because it's iconic. I put the piercing jewelry in, I threaded it through, and oh my gosh, putting the ball on, it was so much work. I wanted to kill myself. It was literally so hard, but I finally got it on. I was on FaceTime with my cousin, and I called her after I did my belly button piercing too, but we'll get into that later. So I called her and I was like, guess what I did? And she was like, you scare me. So I was like telling her about how I'm gonna hide it, and I tried to like shove it up my nose, but I didn't know how to do it yet. So what I tried to do was I tried to do this thing. I tried to do that, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was like trying to do the, oh no, I haven't done this with nails yet. Okay, I got it. So I finally did it to where you just flip it up from here. And so I hid it until I went to school the next day, and I told my ex that I did it. I don't think we were dating it. Yeah, we weren't dating at this time, but we were still friends. We are still friends still. Like to this day, we're still friends. So I told him I did it, and I couldn't like get it out of my nose because it hurt so bad. But like it didn't actually hurt that bad. I was kind of just a wimp. What really hurt was my Helix. But I told him about it, and he was like, so do we get to see it? So we walked into school, I took it out of my nose, I was showing all my friends, and everyone was like, it's like way too big. And I was like, yeah, it's so big, I'm gonna downsize it. I never did. I love it now. I like the size it is now. My friends, they weren't a big fan of it, but I really liked it. I guess that's the septum story until I got found out a week after I pierced it. I had been hiding it, and so my mom, she bought these baby chicks online. We have chickens. She bought these baby chicks online, and we had a snake problem, and she didn't want the babies to get eaten by snakes. So what she did was she bought an indoor pen, like a tiny fabric pen, and she kept all of her baby chicks in there with their adoptive mother. We were like messing with the chickens, and we were like petting them and stuff, and then I laid down on the ground in front of a window. So I was laying in front of the window in there, and my mom, like, I was rubbing my eyes, right? So my eyes were closed, and my mom goes, how dare you? And I opened my eyes, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, you pierced your nose. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did. So she goes and tells my dad. He gave me the silent treatment for maybe a week or two. Literally gave me the silent treatment for a week or two, and my mom was pissed at me. He was like, you're ruining your beauty. Why would you do that? You were ruining your face. You look so much better without it. And he was so pissed at me. So he didn't talk to me for like a week, but then he not found out, what am I talking about? He told my aunt, who I already told. When I first did it, I sent her a picture of it, and when she was 17, she got her belly button pierced without her parents' permission, and she hid it for like maybe a month or two, and then she was playing basketball, and she like, whoo, and her shirt came up, and my grandma was like, Kelly, full name. And so she got found out. But I told her when I first did it, and then my dad told her when he found out, and she messaged me on Instagram and she went, ooh girl, and I was like, oh, so we told you? And she was like, yeah. She said it really suits me. She said it's very me, which I really appreciate. But yeah, that is the story about my septum. Okay, my next piercing was my first Helix here. I did it on both sides, and don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I know how bad this is. And I already know how bad it is to do it at home by yourself, but I did them both with disposable piercing guns. Yeah. And the gem was literally so big. If I find a picture, I'll insert it here. But the gem for the earring, it was so comically large. It looked so stupid, but I eventually switched it out for these. I got them on Shein. I showed my mom. She didn't care much for like ear piercings as much as she did for like facial and body piercings. So she didn't care that much. I showed her, I think while I was playing volleyball with her outside, and at this point I was homeschooled, I think. And so I showed her and she was like, dude. But one day I was at my mom's friend's house and my dad hugged me, but he is like, I think he's like 6'1", and so when he hugged me, it was like here, and he squeezed me, and it hurt so bad. Healing a Helix is the worst experience I have ever had. It was so bad. It hurt terribly hurt. But yeah, he hugged me and it hurt really bad. It still kind of hurts. Like, helixes are very hard to heal in the cartilage. But yeah. And then once I switched out this for a hoop, I pierced this and this up here with disposable piercing guns. But the thing is, they were placed wrong. I didn't like the placing, so I took it out, and the earring was sharp, so that's good. The fact that the earring for the piercing gun was actually sharp and not just dull, and it wasn't just blunt force, that is better than a lot of piercing guns. But the earring was sharp, so what I did was I took it out, and I literally just took the earring that was sharp, and I just shoved it through my ear twice on each ear. Twice on each ear. So I pierced it the first time, and then I shoved it through my ear with my hands twice. So I pierced each ear 3 times just for this one piercing up here. And it honestly didn't even hurt very bad. Like, the disposable piercing guns, they were honestly not even bad. Like, the act of piercing my helixes, it did not hurt. Like, even shoving the earring through my ear, that did not hurt, like, barely at all. Like, of course it was like a pinch, but it's not bad. Like, when I still had my piercing kit, I tried to do it with a 16 gauge needle. That hurt more than the earring did. I guess because of how sharp it was, I don't know. Okay, so when I did my belly button, I was just in my room. I was just like chilling, and I was like, I want to pierce my belly button. I think it would be really cute. And this wasn't a piercing I wanted for a really long time or anything. I just randomly was like, I want to have a belly button piercing. So I got out my piercing kit that I had at this time, and I got a 14 gauge needle. That was my first mistake. So basically, hold on, do I have a belly button piercing here? I think I have the one I ordered from Temu, but I don't like it, so I don't wear it. Hold on, where is it? So this is a 12 gauge. Wait, no. I think this is a 14 gauge. So this is 14 gauge, but piercing it with a 14 gauge meant I couldn't thread it through because they were both the same gauge. So So I poked it through the top of my belly button, and I shoved it through down. Because I tried to pierce my belly button before, once, and I went through the bottom to the top, and it hurt too bad for me to do it, so I took it out, before I could get it all the way through. But this time I pierced it through the top, and so I got it through, and I was trying to thread it through, but it was the same gauge, so I couldn't. So what I did was I got a 12 gauge needle, I put the point in the 14 gauge needle, and I threaded it through, and I basically like tapered it like you would a lobe piercing if you're like stretching it. So I like pushed it through, and then I had a 12 gauge needle in my belly button. But it was placed wrong. So what I did was I took it out, and I pierced it again, and it was still in the wrong place. So then I took it out, and I pierced it again, and this is all within the span of like an hour. And so I pierced it again, and it looked fine. And so I put the jewelry in, and I FaceTimed my cousin again. And I was like, guess what I did? And she was like, oh no, what did you do? And I said, look at what I did. And she was like, you terrify me. Like, how are you? This is crazy. But I was like, isn't it cute? And she was like, yeah. When I went to her house recently, like maybe a week or two ago, I was like talking to her, and she was like, how's your belly button piercing going? And I was like, I think it was rejecting. Well, I thought it was rejecting because I looked at it one day and it was on a thin piece of skin, and I pierced it on a larger piece of skin, and so I was like, is it rejecting? So I messaged a piercer in Atlanta, and I was like, hey, do you think my piercing is rejecting? And they were like, I think it looks fine. So I was like, great, there's hope. And so then I was scrolling through TikTok, and there was this girl, and she posted a photo, and she's like, guys, is my belly button piercing rejecting? And it looked exactly how mine looked. And everyone in the comments, except for like a few people, were like, nope, and it looks like perfectly healed. So I was like, great, mine's healed. So I think it's good now. I think I was just overreacting. But yeah, I think it's healed, or at least it is somewhat healed. I think I pierced it in January, and right now it's May, so that's like 4 months of time for it to heal. And then months after I had done that, I ordered tongue piercings on Amazon. But the thing is, the first thing in the name for the tongue piercings were nipple rings. So my dad saw that in the Amazon orders, and he was like, he called my mom, and he was like, can you ask Riley why there are nipple rings in the Amazon orders? And she was like, oh my god, like, yeah, I'll ask her. So she called me into the living room, and she was like, hey, do you want to explain your latest Amazon order? And I was like, tongue rings, yeah. And she was like, no, like, you're not gonna do that. And I honestly, I should have said industrial, so she didn't take it away. If you don't know what an industrial is, it goes through there. It's a bar that goes through 2 points in your ear. I should have said that, so that I could have done my tongue piercing without getting interference, but I said tongue, and then like maybe an hour later, she came to my room with a plastic bag, and she went, I need all of your piercing paraphernalia, or whatever the word was. And the thing about my parents is, when they're trying to act large and in charge, they try to use big words to seem big and bad. So she was like, I need all your piercing paraphernalia. And so I gave her my piercing kit. But apparently I still had 16 gauges in my room and flat back earrings. I just had one 16 gauge needle and like 2 flat back earrings or whatever. So I didn't know this at the time. Like, I thought I gave her all the piercing stuff. And I told her I did the snake piercing with an earring, but surprise, I had a needle in my room. So I was begging my mom for a conch piercing. I was begging her for a conch piercing. I was like, ear piercings are so common and so widely accepted, and like, I really want a conch, because so I had all of these, and I had these, but this was just bare. It was just bare, and I wanted something to fill it up, and I don't really have like enough skin right there to do a piercing right there. So I was like, I want a conch piercing so I can put a hoop in it. And she was like, you're stressing me out. Like, piercings just stress her out for some reason. I have no idea why. Like, it's not that deep, but it stresses her out so much. So when I kept asking, she was like, stop asking me. And so she was like, ask me when I'm off of work, because for some reason that would be fine. I don't even know her reasoning. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. I'm like dissing you right now, but I did not understand her reasoning. And I told her that. Like, I told her I thought she sounded stupid. Like, I have that kind of relationship with my parents. Like, if I call them like stupid as a joke, they won't like lecture me like other parents will. Like, we have that kind of relationship. Like, I can also make like dirty jokes around them. Like, if I say that's what she said, they won't go, Riley, you can't say that. That's inappropriate. No, like, they're the ones who showed me The Office. That was like our family show, and we even watched The Good Place. And they don't care if I watch rated R or MA stuff. They'll literally like recommend R and MA movies to me, and they have since I was like maybe 11 or 12. That's the kind of relationship I have with my parents. I kept asking her for conch piercing. She kept saying she'll think about it, and then she was like, ask me when I'm off of work so that I can actually like think about it and I'm not stressed out from work. So I was like, okay. But then I found the needle in my room, and I found the flat back piercing. Hold on, here are the ones that I put in my conch piercing. So, like, these are the ones I had in my ear. I found the needle in my room. I was like, what if I just like do my conch right now? And the thing is, when my parents took my piercing kit away, they said if we find any more piercings, then we will take your driving privileges away. And so I was like, okay. So that's why I was asking for permission before I did my conch piercing. But I ended up just being like, F it, let's do it. So I took the needle and I pierced my conch, and then with the same needle I did my other conch. This one, I have to burp. This one did not hurt like at all. It was a breeze. And then this one, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. The healing was perfectly fine. It hurt for the night after, but when like I was healing it, it was perfectly fine. But this, putting the needle in, hurt so bad. And so basically I was like, I have the needle in my ear, and only the ball screwed off of the flat back, and I couldn't put it, because they were both 16 gauge, I couldn't put it like inside the needle because they were the same gauge, so I couldn't thread it through with the pointy side of the needle. I had to put the flat back part in right here. This is where the flat back part was, and not the ball. The ball was out the back of my ear, so that's how I had to do it, because I couldn't get it from the back of my ear to the front. I had to do front to back. So then I hid it by keeping my hair down, and when I needed to put my hair up when it was like greasy or something, I put my hair like this. This is how I wore my hair. I looked like Lord Farquaad, but I tried to be like cute and grunge with it. So one day I was out with the chickens with my mom, and we were putting them up basically. Some chickens need to be put like up high because that's where they like to sleep, so we need to wait for them to be ready to go up high. So we'll like do this, they'll jump on our arm, we'll put them up on like the cabinet or something. And some chickens want cuddles, some chickens are scared to come in because they don't want to get beat up, so they wait till everybody's on the roost so that they can come in and go to their spot. So we like stay out there for maybe like 20 minutes every night. Well, I say we, but I don't really go out there very often. It's just every once in a while I'll help my mom. And this night, my chicken Sweet Potato, well, I say my chicken, but it's my mom's chicken. Sweet Potato was on my shoulder and my ear was showing, and because the flat back was a flat front, it was showing through the front of my ear. So basically my mom saw it was shining, and she went, "You pierced your ear." And I was like, "Yeah." And she got so mad. She had an anxiety attack. She was so pissed. She like cried over this, I'm pretty sure. So she immediately didn't say another word. She went inside, and I was like yelling at her across the yard, "Mom, please don't tell Dad, like he's gonna be pissed." And so then after a few days they were like, "You're not allowed to drive. You have to," they gave me a punishment. They said I had to scoop poop out of the coop. Ooh, that rhymed. Said I had to clean the car, like vacuum it, wipe down the dashboard, wipe down the buttons, like clean the windshield, the mirrors, everything like that. And they said I had to read some, like, I think it was like a religious book, I don't know, but they said I had to do those. But one day, my therapist, I had an appointment with my therapist, and my dad had work at the time of the therapy appointment, so he couldn't take me and my mom. So they signed me up for a virtual appointment, and they said, because you're doing a virtual appointment, we'll take the book off of your list of things to do. So then I only had 2 things to do, and I did them like I think within a week, maybe, but like not within a week of them telling me to do those. I think I did them within a week of each other, but I didn't do them for like maybe a month or 2 after they told me to do those things. But now I can drive because I did it like a week or 2 ago. So that is the Conch story. Okay, so those are all my piercings. So this is my septum. I'm pretty sure it's in the wrong spot, but I actually don't care because at least I have it. This is my ear with my band-aided first lobe. And then this is my other ear. And then this is my belly button piercing. I haven't switched out to a shorter bar yet, so this is the bar that's supposed to leave room for healing. Okay, so those are all my piercings. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't join the Discord server because it's like really dead, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. Follow me on Instagram at CreepyKittyRiley, not CK Riley, because that is my private account. People keep requesting to follow my private account. That is for school friends and family. But Creepy Kitty Riley is my public account that anyone could follow, and that, do what you want with that. You can also follow my Twitch at Creepy Kitty Riley. Subscribe to me on this channel. Follow me, subscribe to me on my shorts channel at Creepy Kitty Riley. What else? I think that's all. Everything's in my link tree down below. Like, just go there. If you want to check me out on anything, it's all down there. So yeah, have a good day. Bye.